Hi. Bit exasperated. It's blowing a gale outside. Anyway, got this question from Nick who says, when watching your vids and you saying for recovery means not really being interested in all this eating disorder stuff anymore and no super focus on food exercise, I thought you are still currently in the eating disorder recovery world. Great help and support, but do you ever think maybe I shouldn't care about this world anymore and my job is another form of ED thoughts or pull? Short answer, no. I wouldn't say I'm that involved in the eating disorder recovery world, honestly. I don't go to any conferences anymore. I pretty much make YouTube videos, do my coaching. Sometimes I write a book. But this is a job I have now, so I can't exactly be completely uninvolved, can I? And I think that what I've got to say is important and a little bit different. So that's the reason I do it. It's certainly not because I'm obsessed with food or exercise, if that's what you're asking, or for any other eating disorder reasons. And honestly, it's not my biggest focus in life. I shouldn't say that, but it's not. It's something that I do, and I do it because I feel it's helpful for people. But any moment that I'm not either on YouTube or talking to a client, I'm doing other things. I have a much bigger interest, and that's horses, and that's what I do with all of my time. This is a really small part of what I do. I have no intention of making it a bigger part of what I do either. I wouldn't want that, definitely. It's not like I'm not interested in eating disorder stuff, because that would be weird, but I'm not that interested in eating disorder stuff, honestly. I certainly don't, and maybe sometimes I think, oh, I should kind of like look at what other people's opinions on recovery are, and I'm like, oh, I can't bother, because I know what I know, and I do what I do, and I'm not massively interested in what anybody else is doing. That's why when people say to me, have you seen so-and-so on YouTube? I'm like, no. Or have you read so-and-so's book? No. Or what do you think of whatever method of recovery? I'm like, because I genuinely don't. And probably sometimes I was like, go and look people up, and then I just find it so boring I can't even do it. Like, can't even look at it, try and read what someone's recovery thoughts are. I'm like, I don't find it massively interesting. I find it quite annoying, especially if they're like psychobabble focused. Who wants to annoy themselves? I don't want to annoy myself. Generally, people on YouTube are really annoying. They are, aren't they? Especially when they're sort of like sitting there in their, I don't know, you can tell that they've very obviously created a little sort of like YouTube background and made the place that they're sitting in look super nice, and they've done all their hair and makeup, and they're like just pretending that I live in this Instagram world of perfectness and this is just me every day. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. I've just literally been out feeding horses. I have horse slobber. That is horse slobber right there. Didn't even change my top. Because I just would rather be a real person. I'm just always going to be honest. So if you ask me, am I massively interested in the eating disorder world? The answer is no, I'm not. I do like talking to people though. I like my clients. I like talking to people with eating disorders because most of the time they're smart. Most of the time, by the time they talk to me, they already know what I'm going to say to them, and they've already worked it out themselves. So I'm just sort of really confirming what they already know. But I get lots of insight from people with eating disorders as well, people that might have a slightly different experience than mine. And at this point, I'm proud to say I've worked with thousands of people. So I love that I have that knowledge base. And that is something that I think is important, the amount of experience I now have working with people with eating disorders. So I'm not just going to let that slide. I'll never stop doing this. It's something that is important to me on that level. You know, the important bit to me is talking to people with eating disorders and helping people with eating disorders. It's not all of the being part of the eating disorder community and arguing with different people and therapists about method. Like, that's just all. I get so sick of all of that crap on social media. I have no time for it. I just can't be bothered. But you guys, that's what I got time for. And that's exactly why I still do this. So it's absolutely not out of any sort of eating disorder obsession. It's more about just wanting to use the ton of experience I now have with eating disorders to maybe help some people out. Because imagine, sometimes I do wonder, if say when I was 2 years into my eating disorder, if there'd been someone like me out there, might have just picked up on it, and that could have saved me 8-9 years. 8-9 years I could have not had an eating disorder if maybe there had been someone speaking common sense at the time. And that's why I'm hoping sometimes, so the reason I make these videos is think, if one person watches this and decides to fucking start eating and stop exercising as a result of it, job done.